SRN News. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore in for some serious winter weather starting later today. Ice flows from the Ohio Valley of the Central Appalachians into the Mid-Atlantic region, including those big East Coast cities. The cap is a step closer to becoming America's intel chief. The nomination for National Intelligence Director passed out of committee and gone to the full Senate for a vote. One person was killed, others injured in an accident at the Scottsdale, Arizona airport. Of those injured, 2 were taken to trauma centers, 1 hospitalized in a stable condition. 2 private jets collided on the ground yesterday at the airport. The average American student still half a grade level behind pre-pandemic levels of achievement in both reading and math, according to researchers at Harvard, Stanford, and Dartmouth. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in the red. More details, srnnews.com.
If you're 65 or older, you know this. Seeing your healthcare costs go up and up is frustrating. Maybe you're just notified that your Medicare costs are increasing again, or you're just tired of the massive deductibles. Well, here's some good news. There's a program that can really help with this. It's MediShare 65 Plus. It's an affordable, reliable alternative. You can choose any Medicare provider. You get telehealth access anytime you need it. And MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. MediShare is a Christian healthcare community that aligns with your faith. People actually pray for you, they encourage you, and it's proven too. It's been going strong for over 30 years now. So call now. You can get one low monthly price for up to 10 years. You're not stuck with increasing costs. You can do something about this today. Call MediShare 65 Plus. Find out how much you can save. Call 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE 55. 833-SHARE-55.
Here's the latest news and information that impacts you. I'm Derek White. Colby Community College Junior Day has been rescheduled to February 19th due to the anticipated winter storm. The college is hosting Junior Day next Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Regional high school students and their parents are invited to the campus to explore academic opportunities, meet the faculty and coaches, and get a little glimpse into campus life. Please register in advance at colbycc.edu. A winter storm warning has been issued from the National Weather Service for Northwest Kansas beginning this evening and lasting through Wednesday evening. Most areas could receive 4 to 8 inches of snow, and officials are warning that winter weather could make travel difficult. Governor Laura Kelly is preparing for the state's response for the upcoming storm. She has issued a verbal state of disaster emergency proclamation. The declaration will allow resources to be used to aid communities that are impacted by the winter weather. This Saturday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., the Colby-Thomas County Chamber of Commerce is celebrating its 75th birthday with a reverse raffle at City Limits Convention Center in Colby. The evening will have food, drinks, and entertainment, but the main event will be the reverse raffle with opportunities to win up to $5,000. Go to colbychamber.com to sign up. Brewster Lions Club will be hosting a pancake feed this Saturday at Henry Hall. Beginning at 7 a.m., the club will be serving until 10 a.m. All donations will be used for the site and community betterment projects. The Knights of Columbus will also be doing a pancake feed this Sunday on February 16th at the Sacred Heart Basement following 8 a.m. Mass. Free will donation with funds being donated to the Ken Crable Inclusive Park. For more information on this and other stories, visit nwksradio.net.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. A winter storm warning begins at 6 p.m. tonight and remains in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Daytime highs approaching 16 today under cloudy skies with a chance of snow, winds out of the east, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Snow, heavy at times likely. Lows dip down to about 2 above. Overcast skies tomorrow. Snow likely. High temperatures reach up to 14. Lots of sunshine and dry Thursday. Clouds on the increase by Friday. Mid-20s Thursday. Low 40s by Friday. 4 to 8 inches of snow tonight through tomorrow. Get up-to-the-minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently 7 above.
Goodland's Rocket 1025 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS Athletics this season are made possible in part by
Dan Brenner Ford, Coons Russell Funeral Home, Med Enterprises LLC, The Schooler Company, M&M Supply, and Range Chiropractic.
Looking for big savings on a powerful new ride? Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas has you covered. Right now, drive home a 2025 Silverado 2500 with just 3.9% financing for 60 months. Need space and style? Get $1,000 customer loyalty cash on a 2024 Chevy Suburban. Or grab a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500 Pro Diesel. Originally just over $67,000, now just over $56,000 with a huge hail discount. Swing by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
New year, new projects, and new deals at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Start 2025 with a bang by tackling those home improvements. Refresh your space with vibrant Benjamin Moore paint or stock up on storage totes and shelves, perfect for organizing. Lumber prices are down, making it easier to tackle your next big project. Keep warm while you grill year-round with their top-notch grills and smokers from Traeger and Weber. And don't let the snow slow you down. Check out their great selection of snowblowers from Ego and Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
Farmers, the spring crop insurance deadline is fast approaching. Have you started the process of getting a written agreement on crops that are not typically insurable? This deadline is also March 15th, but much more information is needed in order to request coverage. Now is the time to call or stop by the insurance agency in Goodland to review your crops and coverage. See Roxanne, Susan, and Judy at the insurance agency located at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call them at 785-899-5011 for your peace of mind.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Matt from Mittens Travel Center of Oakley. We've been serving your needs from the family to the farm and everything in between for over 55 years. Mittens has trucks out every day delivering bulk fuel, DEF, bulk lubricants, and antifreeze right to your farm or ranch. We also have 24/7 truck repair and maintenance to keep your fleet on the road. If you can hear this commercial, you're in our service area. For a complete list of our services and products or to get a quote, go to mitteninc.com or call us at 785-672-4111.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Max Gershon.
Look at their schedule, folks. They played no one, and they never do to start the year until they play Kansas. They get these Mickey Mouse wins out of their ways.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch. In the end zone, touchdown Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
After an empty possession for the Jazz. And here's Doncic driving, puts it up, instead it's a lob. And Hayes with the slam. We know how Luka loves to lob it to his friends.
He's going to dribble away from Stremlow, drives down the lane, puts her big girl pants on, and it counts! And a foul! Bernie Rimdahl saving the Huskers, banking her today.
Roberts wants into the post and gets it. Roberts attacking. Roberts the left hand. In and out. Fritz is the putback slam.
7 seconds to go. They try to double team DeRozan. Steps through.
Hold up! Where are you from, DeMar DeRozan?
And good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome back inside the Morning Blitz. Today we are back at full strength. Max Gershon is back with us from his travels over east. Made it back before Winter Storm 2025 hits. Once again, it's anywhere between, it sounds like 2 to 5 inches of the white powdery stuff coming to an area near you here over the next couple of 24 to 36 hours, it sounds like, through Wednesday morning. So be prepared for that. A lot of, especially in the sporting areas, have moved events up or moved things to yesterday and to move things around to accommodate so that hopefully Wednesday, all we were talking about is possibly no school, possibly, is what I have a good feeling about that. Max, good morning. How are we doing? Welcome back.
Morning.
There's not much light in your eyes. You look very tired and you look very depressed.
Defeated.
You look rough this morning, my friend.
Defeated would be the word. It's a long, silent
this
drive
is even
back.
after a whole day of having to process what happened over this weekend. I mean, I figured you'd be a little bit more put back together.
Oh, I am.
I mean, I can't imagine. I'm actually kind of happy you didn't have to do the show yesterday because I don't know, that might have been tough. I had to have therapy the whole show.
Yeah, it would have been tough. It was a long, quiet 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive back home from KC on Monday, and it's not, it's better than I was yesterday, but I'm not electric about it. I'm not ecstatic. You could say, definitely not ecstatic.
He's still wallowing in self-pity is what Max finds. I do find it funny because I do know that I remember this late in the show yesterday, and I kind of had a chuckle about it to myself. But I remember you saying, "Well, I think the Chiefs are going to win because KU is going to lose," and it just both bad things can't happen in the same weekend. It just can't happen.
Oh, they can.
And it did.
And it all happened. It was, probably the worst weekend of as far as entertainment and media and all that in my life. You've got KU starting it off, losing to K-State, which I wasn't surprised about. Maybe, I thought it was going to be a little closer maybe, but I turned it off. I was driving home. I was listening to it in the final 4 minutes of the first half. I turned it off, never turned it back on because I knew it was over. I over. I checked the score maybe twice in the second half, and I was like, yeah, this team's not coming back. And then, then Sunday rolls around. Chiefs playing the Super Bowl. That was pretty much a disaster. And then the cherry on top, Kendrick performing at the halftime show. Of course, I'm a big Drake fan, so they don't. That was terrible. That was the big cherry. That was just the cherry on top of all my misery this weekend. It was just a rough weekend. It happens. It was like coming down from a 2-year high almost, of thinking, okay, the Chiefs are unstoppable to a certain level. And I thought that, because of that Tampa loss in the Super Bowl, I didn't think that was going to happen again. I didn't think that Andy Reid was going to let that happen again, and Mahomes was going to let that happen again. But they're human, they're human beings, and it happened again. So it was a rough watch for sure. And I have my different ways of coping, and it was it's just not what I expected, and especially the way they won was definitely not how I expected. We pretty much shut down.
You mean getting dominated pretty much?
Oh yeah, but we shut down Saquon Barkley for the most of the game. He really didn't do anything. And then just turnovers and penalties and the way the Chiefs have won games because other teams do that. But credit to the Eagles. They were the better team.
Games are won in the trenches.
Outcoached, outplayed at every single level. Just pretty much a complete and utter disaster in the three. It's just you go all that way to try to make history, and then that's just the result is just hard. It's hard for me to believe that you can play that good, and it's the second time. Arguably the two best Chiefs teams are the 2020 and this year's Chiefs teams. If just all around, those teams won a crap ton of games in the regular season and then really played good in the postseason and just got blown out the door in the Super Bowl against Tampa and the Eagles. So it's I don't know. I really have no explanation, Ross. I don't know. People have asked me what happened, and I don't have an explanation.
It's
I don't know what
easy.
happened.
It's easy. They do not have good enough offensive line play to protect
No,
their quarterback. It's simple.
They had gotten away with it.
Gotten
before.
away with it. That's right. Gotten away with it. Not good enough to win the big game.
Okay, but they've won big games with that offensive line being terrible. I'm not saying they should have. I wasn't maybe. I told Nick Athen that. I said this is the worst offensive line they've had since that Super Bowl, and he told me no. He said no. You remember that? That was
yes. I'm not.
I was worried about this happening. Not necessarily a blowout, but I was worried that was going to be the key to the loss. But they've still been able to work through it. This wasn't just the. I mean, it was the worst part was the offensive line. Don't get me wrong, but this was not. It was Mahomes played terrible. Arguably the worst.
He played bad because he had no time to throw. Yep.
I mean, arguably the worst first half of his career. Not arguably, it was. The receivers couldn't get open. The defense couldn't stop the pass. McDuffie can't guard AJ Brown. It was all terrible. It really was.
Got to give credit where credit's due. Vic Fangio had a great game plan, and his team executed it to perfection. And it was a beatdown. It truly was a beatdown. I remember looking at the halftime numbers, and Kansas City had 23 total yards of offense and 1 first down.
Yeah, the Eagles had more plays than we had yards after one half.
Oh yeah, for sure, easily. So it was, I get it. Rough day. And I'm sure the Gershon household was in pretty rough shape. I have a feeling that gumbo wasn't tasting too good.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet. It was quiet. People started leaving, and we had people over. Started leaving in the third, beginning of the fourth. I knew it was because you have Mahomes, you got the Chiefs. You don't ever I think you're really out of it. And that's
right.
what I've learned. So but I knew it was over when there was that second interception. We got the ball back, and Mahomes threw the pick.
Right before half, Zach Bond with the pick.
Was that before half?
Right before half.
Okay, then never mind. It was after half. It was when we were down 24-0, went 3 and out, and then they scored.
Yeah,
that was over. So
I get it. It was a rough day. It was a rough day. Understandably so. Well, you got a whole week to wallow in self-pity, and hopefully you'll be better by next week. Just takes a little bit of time. So
yeah.
Anyway, welcome inside the Morning Blitz. If you want to be part of the program, hit us up on the FB Bank text line, 785-899-2222. We're going to talk some wrestling today. Our friend of the program, Cole Garcia, Colby High School wrestling coach, going to stop by and visit with us and talk about the Eagles' domination at the GWAC wrestling tournament, where both the Eagles and Lady Eagles took home the first place spot there down in Scott City this past Friday. We'll get to some high school basketball a little bit later on in the show. I admit I don't know exactly who is all playing or has postponed or moved. I know a few games that got moved ahead to yesterday, but we do know that Colby and Goodland will play again tonight inside the Max Jones Field, really this afternoon. They will tip off at 4:30 Central, 3:30 Mountain Time inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse with the girls' game, and the boys' game will follow at approximately 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time to get those games in and done before the snow is going to come here this evening. So good job, good work, but of course, and a salute to all the athletic directors out there making their schedules work to try and get these things in before a snowstorm comes and probably slows things up at least for 24 hours. So that's the big thing. So we'll get to those thoughts and stuff more in the back end of the show. Big night tonight in college basketball. I want to get to that first and foremost here in the program, especially for, I would say for sure for Kansas and Kansas State. We'll start with KU. KU, of course, trying to bounce back from a loss at Kansas State. We talked about this on the show a lot yesterday, particularly from the Kansas State's perspective. But from the KU perspective, I do find it interesting. I have gone back and I saw this. I was looking at the schedule. Kansas has alternated wins and losses now for 6 consecutive games. They won at TCU, lost at home to Houston. Won versus UCF, lost at Baylor. Won versus Iowa State, lost to Kansas State. So they've been alternating back and forth, and I believe that trend will continue today when they will bounce back and beat Colorado at home, because Colorado is still winless in the Big 12. and just has 9 wins on the season. It's been a very tough year for Tad Boyle's team over there in Boulder. But it's been a tough go here for Bill Self's team. They just cannot seem to string together a couple of consecutive wins, although I do believe that is going to change here down the stretch, because after Colorado, you've got Utah, BYU, Oklahoma State, and then Colorado again before you have to play 3 top 15 ranked Big 12 teams to finish off the regular season in the month of March. So I do believe we're going to see KU get on a bit of a heater here and get above that 20-win mark. But it has certainly been an interesting stretch of Kansas basketball, Max, here over the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the only reason that they're still ranked is that they haven't lost back-to-back. I mean, if they would have lost one of those weeks entirely, who knows where they'd be. But 17 is where they are. And, yeah, I mean, they're going to need – not that they, of course, necessarily need to get on a heater like K-State does, because they're still much, much better of a spot than K-State is. You know, they've got to get something going, a little momentum going. I would expect a win tonight. And then, you know, we'll see what happens. They got the big part of their schedule is what you mentioned at the end of the year before the Big 12 tournament is those 3 ranked opponents. And, you know, people's perspectives can really shift if you sweep your way to the Big 12 tournament, and really get some momentum going there. And then who knows what happens. But yeah, I think just they can coast along to that point. I think that they have a chance to really get on a heater at the end of the year, and that would definitely change my perspective, a lot of people's perspectives. So it's been rough for KU fans. I know K-State and, you know, whatever, Nebraska fans would probably be like, this isn't rough. You have no idea what you're talking about. But from a KU fan's perspective, this is rough. This is what rough looks like. And I mean, they'll bounce back today against Colorado again, who hasn't won a game in the Big 12 this year. But it's just, what are we going to see down the stretch? Is just all I'm worried about. What are we going to see in the tournament? Right now, I have no confidence that they make it out of round 2, round 1. But that could all change with some big wins down the stretch.
Why do you think they can't put together back-to-back really good performances here over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, they don't play good on the road. That's a big thing. They really struggle.
It really
on the
shouldn't
road.
be an issue because they've got so many older guys that have played a lot of college basketball. That shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Hunter, KJ, and DeWan have struggled. They've lost a lot of road games in the last 2 years. But I mean, I don't know. Just it's inconsistent scoring. It's just inconsistent scoring. Hunter's consistent, but he doesn't play defense. You know, I mean, it's just inconsistent, and I just want to see some adjust. I just want to see something new. I want to see the way they're losing is boring. Let's find another way to lose. You know, let's find a different way to lose. Let's get some different guys. Let's try some different guys out. We've been asking for it all year. Hopefully that K-State loss. Maybe, you know, this is a Colorado team this is a chance to let AJ Storr have a game. It's a chance to have Rylan Griffin control the basketball this game. It's just.
Are you meaning like different guys? You mean just giving guys a start, or do you mean just playing more minutes?
Giving them the keys to the offense.
So playing more minutes.
Yeah, if that's what it takes. It just the way they're not. I'm not seeing anything different in any of these losses. There's nothing. It's the same thing every game, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but. I mean, obviously, Flory is miles ahead of KJ, and I hope he stays next year because I think him and Darren Peterson are going to be a really, really, really good duo. But that's next year. That's not this year, and there's still something to save this year, even though you've really, you know, not been what you thought you were. So I think a game like this against Colorado is a chance to get the role players on a roll, get them going. You're going to need Ryland, you're going to need AJ Storr, you're going to need them all to be productive scorers in the Big 12 tournament and in the NCAA tournament. So this is a chance for them to really find their own in games like this against Colorado and these games leading up to that really tough stretch at the end of the year.
That'll be a fascinating game once again between KU and Colorado. See how the Jayhawks bounce back. More than likely, KU will probably I was going to see if I saw what the line was in this game because 16.5 points. It's a huge line. but more than likely they'll cover it. It's been a very tough year for CU basketball. That game's going to tip tonight, by the way. It's on ESPN2 and Flyover Country 97.9. That's at 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, tip between KU and Colorado. To me, the more interesting game of the night, though, is Kansas State at home hosting Arizona, two of the hottest teams in the Big 12. Arizona has rattled off 6 consecutive wins. Kansas State has rattled off 5 consecutive wins. You know, Arizona had a very, very bad non-conference slate. They really, by that I mean they did not play very well, and they played tough competition. They had a bad record. But in the Big 12, they have been dudes. They are 11-1 in conference play. Kansas State had a really bad start, no matter if it was non-conference or regular conference play. And now they're starting to dig their way out of it as they have played and won 5 consecutive games. And this, to me, would be another massive step in the direction of them trying to get back into the tournament picture. I said it yesterday in the show that Fran Fraschilla made the comment after the win for Kansas State over KU. He goes, I don't know what happened to Kansas State early on in the season, but if you look at them just right now, this is a tournament basketball team. And he's right. They have played like that. Doug McDaniel, I believe, has been the biggest reason for that. Their point guard is doing exactly everything that Jerome Tang wants him to do, whether it's driving or shooting or getting everybody else involved. He's done a great job, has Doug McDaniel, of being the playmaker that I think Coach Tang envisioned him being. And tonight is a fantastic, fantastic test of this winning streak, of the home crowd energy, of everything. When 13th ranked Arizona comes to town. To me, this is the more interesting basketball game tonight, because if you're Kansas State and you can win this game, once again, as Max said before, you're a long ways away from still probably making the tournament, but it's another really nice piece on your resume to help try and get you back in the good graces of the committee. But this is a very intriguing game between Kansas State and Arizona. Like I said, you've got some really good pieces on both sides, whether it's Coleman Hawkins and Doug McDaniel, or Brendan Haasen, who's making over 3 threes a game, or Caleb Love, of course, who's one of the better players in the Big 12, was a former North Carolina player, now at Arizona. This is going to be a really interesting game tonight between Kansas State and Arizona, which is set to tip off at 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central Time. It'll be coverage on Flyover Country 97.9, I believe. And of course, you got Kansas State, Arizona, ESPN Plus. You can watch it there.
You think the only way that K-State makes the tournament is winning the Big 12 championship, correct?
I'm thinking I don't want to say that they have to win the Big 12 tournament championship. I think they can get there, but it's going to take I was pulling up their schedule here, and they're a lot like in fact, they're a lot like Kansas. Let's just say they can get past Arizona tonight and find a way to win this game. Then they got BYU and Utah, Arizona State, UCF, Colorado, Cincinnati before they end the season at home versus Iowa State. I mean, they could get on an absolute heater if they can get past Arizona with the win, because then they could rattle off after this Arizona game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games more, which would push them to 19-11. And then if they could beat more than likely a ranked Iowa State team in the final game of the regular season at home against Iowa State, that would get them to 20-11 with how many wins in a row? Probably 12, 13. And the 20 win mark is kind of where you need to get to be considered for the tournament. I believe you have to get to the 20 win mark. So
Let's win out and win a couple.
I think they're going to be no doubt in conversation if they do that. So I think if they win out, or if they lose only one the rest of the way, and I think it just depends. I think you may have to win one in the tournament if you win out. If you lose one on the way through the rest of the regular season, you might have to win 2. Like I said, I think they probably need to get to that 21-22 win mark to feel pretty good about themselves. But the 20 win benchmark is where I would put it.
Those losses just might come back to haunt them when they're looking over in the committee. If there's a team that has the same resume, I mean, those are some rough losses. Really,
the Wichita State loss is probably the worst.
I mean, that's a team that lost to not even a D1 program.
So, yeah, I mean, they've got a bad loss or two, but I don't know. Like I said, you get hot at the right time, and you're able to rack up some wins here down the stretch. I still think if you get to that 20-win mark, you're really sitting in a good spot if you're Kansas State.
Definitely. And they're going up against Caleb Love, who's been in college for a decade now. I don't know how this guy's still playing. I guess 2020. He said he was a COVID student, but
yeah, he's been around for a while.
UNC, Arizona had that buzzer beater a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the 3-quarter heave.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that one goes.
Now that game to me is very big time tonight. You'll want to for sure that you check that game out. Kansas State at home hosting Arizona, trying to keep this 5-game winning streak going and push it to 6. All right, we'll get to a break. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and talk some wrestling here this morning as Cole Garcia, head coach of the Colby Eagle Wrestling Program, will join us next. You're listening to The Morning Blitz.
NWKS Radio presents A Night of Love with the Tower of Love Valentine's Night Dinner Giveaway from Twisters of Colby and Everything's of Lumen in Oakley. Enjoy dinner with your special someone in the NWKS Radio Weather Tower on South Range in Colby. You'll enjoy dinner for 2 from Twisters, a gift basket from Everything's of Lumen, and Scott Cameron will serenade you with a couple of great love songs. Register now on our Facebook page at NWKS Radio.
News from the world of agriculture on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
For the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network, I'm Caitlin Walters. During calving season, producers get to see the results of their decisions from the previous spring. But with bull sales taking place and breeding season quickly approaching, producers are thinking about their goals for the next year and the best way to achieve them. Kara Lee, the Director of Producer Engagement for Certified Angus Beef, talks about how the consumer impacts decisions on the farm.
When we think about, the consumers and EPDs, those are often two things that are, we don't think about those two things in the same sentence very often because we're very far removed from each other, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, we also know they're very closely related. The cattle producers need continued consumer demand to continue to have a high quality market to merchandise our cattle through. And the consumers continue to need producers to raise high quality beef to meet those increasing consumer expectations. But when we think about consumer demand, we know that marbling is still one of the biggest areas of opportunity that we have on improvement for consumer demand. So today, roughly 80% of the cattle that are candidates for certified Angus beef that miss our brand specification miss because they don't have enough marbling in them. But the fortuitous side of that equation is that marbling is a highly heritable trait. In fact, it's one of the most highly heritable traits the American Angus Association measures. So when we think about the decisions producers are making today, we really have a big opportunity to consider marbling within that genetic selection equation. Again, not to say it's the only trait they need to be thinking about, but the reality is the Angus breed today has so much diversity within our bloodlines, within our pedigrees, that there's a lot of opportunity to make simultaneous improvement in your phenotype and other genetic areas while still keeping the eye on the prize from a marbling perspective, so that when it comes time to rebuild that cow herd, when Mother Nature gives us the resources we need to have some more grass and keep back some more females, the palette that we're working with is better suited for genetic quality of marbling than we've ever had before.
That was Kara Lee with Certified Angus Beef for the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
LivestockMarket.com offers all the tools you need for a successful production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere in the world. Buyers can place pre-bids and real-time bids, browse your sales catalog, and watch your sale broadcast live. LivestockMarket.com is also the ideal platform for private treaty sales and timed online-only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Kansas farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state,
in Toro. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby, your partner for a productive new year.
Quick hits, bold takes, and all the action.
I'll take that action.
Welcome back to the Morning Blitz.
We're back here on a Tuesday program here once again on February the 11th. Once again, a cold start today, 8 degrees. The temperature currently outside only get to 19 here on this Tuesday. And once again, temperatures expected to remain really, really cold over the next couple of days, as we'll see anywhere from possibly 2 to 5 inches widespread, maybe heavier in some other areas of the listening region, but 2 to 5 expected for most of the listening area here with the winter storm coming our way here beginning this evening. Let's transition in and talk a little bit of wrestling here this morning. We're pleased to be joined on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline by Cole Garcia. He is the head coach for the Colby Eagle Wrestling program, who joins us now. Cole, good morning. How are we doing today? Are you all ready for the snow? We've got to get that snow shovel all nice and oiled up, ready to work.
I'd be happy to have to shovel some snow. We haven't got anything yet for the kids to enjoy, so might as well get something here at some point.
No, that wouldn't be all bad. Bundle up the kids, send them out there to a nice drift, or send them out with the snow shovel. Or are you a snowblower, man?
Yeah. No, I'm a shovel guy. Still old school that way.
Haven't hurt the back yet to where you've had to get the snow shovel.
Yeah, I'm one back surgery deep, but what's another one at some point in my life?
How did the first one happen? How did the first back surgery happen?
The first one, I have no idea. I was perfectly fine one day, and 2 days later, I was in the ER, couldn't move. So I don't know what I did. Just getting old.
It's like, have you seen that commercial where that guy and it opens up and the guy's on the floor looking at the ceiling? He's like, "This happened from a sneeze."
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Cole Garcia is our guest here on the Morning Blitz. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened on Friday, Cole, down there in Scott City? What a day it was for Colby Eagle and Lady Eagle Wrestling to take home first in both of those sides.
It was. We kind of the boys, anyways, had kind of came up second a lot this year, and even in the league tournament in years past, and lost by half a point, and going into it, we talk about how just wrestling our best and giving our best effort and doing what we do will the points and everything will take care of itself. But kind of beforehand, I said, it should be nice to walk out of here with that first place plaque instead of the second one. So I told them before, I said, let's just go show everyone what Colby Wrestling's about. And I was really, really happy with both girls and boys who went out and wrestled. Coaches after that first round were talking about how that was kind of the best that we felt that they came out and wrestled in the first round of a tournament in a long time. So it was nice to see them respond to a challenge and go out and wrestle the way we know they're capable of.
Cole, who are some of the wrestlers that really stood out to you in this tournament?
A couple of wrestlers like Simon Salcedo and Dawson DeGood, they both avenged a couple losses from earlier in the year to win the tournament. And everyone wrestled well. Those two, like I said, avenged the losses and wrestled good in their finals matches. But everyone, team wide, I felt like we wrestled really well. The couple young guys, Julian Salcedo's freshman, he wrestled well. Dalton Jacob took second in GWAC as a freshman. It was just a really good team effort, honestly, out of everyone. And the girls, they all wrestled well. Have a couple of injuries right now that they're trying to work through and get healed up for the regional tournament. Morgan didn't wrestle, and Elena for Bridges didn't wrestle in the league tournament, just to give themselves a chance to get healed up to wrestle well at the regional tournament. But Adrian and Aspen and all those girls, they're tough. So it's fun to watch them go out and be tough and wrestle well and do good things.
Yeah, Cole, I was going to ask you kind of what does it, this was the first time, at least from the boys' perspective, that they had, I think, snapped Scott City's 7 straight GWAC titles that they had won. And so Colby gets it done, ending that streak. and over the course of a year, like when you're, let's just say, you're in a lot of tournaments, there's a lot of this other teams that you compete against, and then you get to state, and in order to move up, maybe you've been finishing in 5th and you're going to try and finish in 3rd. How does a team go about doing that when maybe the whole year you've been kind of just a few points behind a team? It doesn't have to be any specific team. How do you go about doing that? Like what needs to change in the kids? Is it mentality? Is it physically? How do you go about making those jumps throughout a season?
Yeah, so a lot of it is, it's a long season, so you start at the beginning, and maybe your shape's not as good, your conditioning's not as good, so you work on that, and then throughout the middle of the year, maybe you wrestle the same person, you close the gap a little bit, you only lose by a couple points, and then towards the end of the year, everything's working together. Your technique's getting better. We're constantly drilling technique, we're constantly working on our conditioning. So at the end of the year, you're just hoping that, and I say hoping, but really we're prepared for that moment. And throughout the whole year, we're prepared to wrestle, hopefully be wrestling our best at the regional tournament. We say everything's practice up until that, because, that's what you're working for. Your goals are to be a state qualifier, to be a state placer, and, you're working to get your best tournament at those 2 tournaments. So it's a lot of it, preparation for conditioning and technique and stuff. And we're actually lucky enough to have a donor, AZ Customs in Atwood. They donated this wrestling mindset program to our wrestling program, and it goes through a lot of having an accountability. This week's was having an accountability buddy and taking responsibility for how you think and what you're doing to give yourself the best position in the postseason. And it's been really great. We've done it for 2 weeks now. We'll do it for the rest of the year. And we have a guy who lives in, I think, North Carolina. We meet with him on Zoom, and he kind of talks us through it. And I feel like the kids have really responded to it, and it's helped out with our wrestling, and hopefully it helps out long term with dealing with struggles of life and school and wrestling.
We're visiting with Cole Garcia. He's the head coach of the Cole Beagle wrestling team. Cole, correct me if I'm wrong here. For some reason, my mind's not working. This is year 2 for you, correct? Or year 3?
Yes. Year two for me. And then we actually split our girls. So Coach Andrew Flanagan is the head girls coach. So, and then we have the 3 other guys on staff: Wyatt Tubbs, Reese McKinney, and Tucker Branham. So it's
a good staff.
Go ahead.
It's a good staff.
It's a great staff. I couldn't ask for a better staff. Those guys. Everyone has their niche. What we just added Wyatt this year. He's the young guy. He's able to get in there and wrestle with everybody. And Tucker's the same way. And McKinney keeps me in line of making sure I have everything organized, and he's a great trainer as well, taking care of injuries. And Flanagan's, first year coach is dealing with all the things the first year coaches deal with, but is handling it great. And we all also, the coaching staff, we all have a great administration with Miss Travis Betts and Matt Sims and our assistant secretaries, Stephanie Thomas and Stephanie Daniels. It's just a great place to be at right now in Colby.
I was curious, with you being in your second year, what have you learned from your first year that you're doing here in your second year to make yourself a better coach or better for your athletes?
I think a lot of it was being confident in what I'm doing. It's easy the first year with everyone. Everyone wants to give a little bit of input, and some of it's good input. Don't get me wrong. Everyone has a little bit to offer, and just being confident in what we're doing as a staff and what I'm preaching and what I think that we need to be really focusing on is better for me this year.
Coach, how differently is preparation for regionals to just any other week?
We talk about this pretty much every day now. This in the grand scheme of your life, a state medal is great, and it'll be cool. You can tell your kids about it, but it's not a huge deal. But right now, to these kids, it is an important thing to them. So they need to focus on what's important to them right now and take care of their bodies and do the right things, but also work hard, like to get to that, to get to what they want to do. So it's important to them right now, so that they have to make the decision to do the work and to put in the effort and to be wrestling their best. I mean, for the girls, it's this weekend, right? They have their regional tournament in McPherson on Friday and Saturday, so they have to be really focused in right now on doing the best and being the best version of themselves on the wrestling mat. That's about the only difference. Is we've been working all year. Now it's time to put it out there on the mat.
Do you try to kind of, I don't know, I'm going to use the word let up a little bit to make sure bodies are fresh and ready to go for this weekend?
It's a fine line, you know. I don't think your conditioning is going to change a whole lot in 1 week. We did the same thing we've done every Monday for the last month and a half. We did that conditioning. Now the girls, they will we'll have pretty good practice today and pretty good practice on Wednesday, and then Thursday the boys will dual Holcomb, and they'll have their own practice where they kind of do their day before competition. We have a practice that we've done since I can remember, that kind of gets them through. Just get them warm, make sure they make weight, and none of the girls really have that problem. But just get them moving, get them kind of fine tuned, and hopefully ready to compete on Friday. And it's a weird deal because they don't even wrestle till 4:30 on Friday, so they'll go down to McPherson Friday morning and then get settled in, and then weigh in and go at 4:30. Just do a couple of rounds that first day.
Do you and the boys, do you guys stick around home and practice and stuff and then go down and cheer on the girls, or do you stick, or is it kind of up to the guys, or how do you like to handle about cheering on the girls this weekend?
Yeah, it's kind of up to the guys. We dual Holcomb. The boys dual Holcomb on Thursday, and then we have the Bill Voss JV tournament on Friday. So 3 of us coaches will stay back and run that and run a practice for our varsity boys, and then we're not sure if we're going up Friday night or Saturday morning for the rest of the coaching staff to go up. And then the boys, they'll just, if they want to go, they can go. But I would imagine with it being in McPherson, it'll probably be maybe a few of them, but not many. But the coaching staff will all be there on Saturday.
How confident are you feeling, and the other coaches as well, about the ladies heading into this weekend, particularly after what happened in Scott City here just a couple days ago?
Yeah, that is a good confidence builder, right? I'm always confident in our wrestlers. I think we can wrestle with anybody out there, and we should be able to. Our wrestlers should think that as well. I don't want to put a number on it because I don't really ever do that, but I just hope they're all wrestling their best and giving their best effort out there. And if they do that, then good things will happen for all of them.
He once again is Colby High School boys and girls. His boys head wrestling coach. He helps out with the girls. That'd be Cole Garcia. Cole, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Best of luck on the duel on Thursday, and to the ladies and the guys coming up here with the postseason beginning of the next 10 days or so.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me on.
Once again, great stuff there from Cole Garcia. I kind of had to chuckle there, Max, a little bit because he's talking about how those state medals they don't really matter a whole lot as you get older, which it's totally true. He's totally right by that, but it is kind of funny. He was a 4-time state champion. So,
makes it easier to say that, doesn't it?
Probably a little bit. It's all right. I'm just joshing with him. He was a fantastic wrestler in his time, that's for sure. Anyway, let's get to a break. When we come back, we will finish up the show with some basketball thoughts here. A few games getting played tonight before the winter storm hits. And then I've got a big-time question for Max in the walk-off. So we will get to that next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Tuesday.
Your Shine County Hospital in St. Francis
school you choose. Stop by a location near you to take advantage of this amazing deal today. Next Tech Wireless, connecting Kansans.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2025 GMC Sierra 2500 with 4.9% financing for 60 months, or drive off in a 25 GMC Sierra 1500 with $2,750 in financing for 48 months. Plus, don't miss your chance to save big on their last hail vehicle, a 24 GMC Sierra 2500 Pro Diesel, originally just over $67,000, now just over $56,000. Deals this good won't last. Hurry to Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
All the sports you love, all in one place.
Ooh, this will come in handy.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Feel like PTI got to make a correction. Cole got to me. He said after the show, no, three-time state finalist, two-time state champ. So
that's still pretty solid.
Pretty good. I told him, I said, well, at least I overshot it. It's better to overshoot it and make the correction than say it wasn't one. I knew he was multi-state champ. I thought it was 4, but that's all right. Two-time state champ. Still pretty darn good. That's hard to do. And no doubt he's applied that great success that he had in his prep career to the young men and women over at Colby Wrestling. Once again, a fantastic past Friday in the GWAC wrestling tournament where both the Eagles and the Lady Eagles take home first place. And like I said, we'll see how that all carries over to the postseason, which begins for the women here this Friday and Saturday. And it's a very busy time for wrestling coaches with the women and the men going at just like I said, back-to-back weeks. It'll be a loaded couple of weeks here with regional wrestling and state wrestling to follow. Which means we'll have to get a hold of Mike Holiday, kind of our wrestling expert guy. He'll have to come on and visit with us about some wrestling and stuff as we get closer to the state tournaments. But real quick, before we get to some thoughts on basketball with whatever school, I have a score from last night, and then we'll get to some thoughts on Colby Goodland here in just a moment. But last night, Fort Hays Tech Northwest hosted Butler inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse. Ladies lost 73-19. It was a very bad night of shooting for Fort Hays Tech Northwest women. I couldn't believe the stat when I saw it, but they were 5 of 56 in the basketball game. That is 9%. 9%. It was a rough day against a very good Butler program. But that was a rough day for the ladies. And then on the men's side, they hung tough again, just came up a little bit short as they lost last night to Butler. I think it was, I don't know why I don't have it pulled up right now. I did have it pulled up, but now it's not working for me. So anyway, it was 78-72 is the final score. They lose to 24th ranked Butler inside the Max. 21 points scored by Chase Harris, one of the top scorers in the Jayhawk. But they have now dropped 2 in a row after winning 3 in a row. 8-14 overall, 6-12 in the Jayhawk. Tigers they're scheduled to host Pratt on Wednesday. That's going to get moved because of the winter storm. They'll have to move that and do that some other time, it sounds like. There was a little bit of high school basketball last night. There were some other games, too. I know Weston Rollins County played. No, Tri-Plains versus St. Francis played. I did not find any scores for those. I know they played yesterday. Hoxie and Oakley played yesterday. And those are a couple of very interesting games. The women's game was 52-41. Hoxie gets the win. Those are both, I believe, ranked teams in the girls' bracket, on the girls' side between Hoxie and Oakley. So 52-41. Hoxie beats Oakley in Oakley, and then Hoxie boys edge the Plainsmen. Very tight game, 57-55 last night as Hoxie gets the win over Oakley. Then tonight you've got some other games. Once again, these could be postponed. They could have been moved. I have not seen anything otherwise different, but I know you've got Golden Plains hosting Hill City. I think Quinter hosts Wheatland Grinnell. Wallace County going to Cheyenne. Hoxie at Trigo. Decatur Community taking on Norton tonight. Luckily, there's some close trips there amongst those games, not a lot of traveling. And so I think might be able to get those games in before and then get home before the storm possibly hits tonight. And that's what's happening with Goodland and Colby. Once again, they've moved the tip-up times up. They're going to start the girls at 4:30 Central, 3:30 Mountain Time inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse, and the boys will follow at approximately 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time as Goodland and Colby meet up. It'll be for the boys the 4th time this year, and for the girls the 3rd time this year. And it's still not done. There might still be postseason meetings as these two teams meet usually quite a bit each and every year, and that is happening again this year. The game both games are intriguing because once again, Goodland has won every single one on the boys' side to this point in time. The first one was a blow-up, but the last two were close and then pulled it out at the end. I'm intrigued to see if playing on the Max Jones Fieldhouse and the way the Cowboys played against Hugoton, if that propels them to a more convincing win over Colby tonight, or if Colby continues to just be that great team that finds a way, despite not having much extra size or extra depth, giving the Cowboys a bunch of fits and finding a way to keep that game close until the very end. And then I'm the most intriguingly fascinated about the girls' side because the Cowgirls have not even come close to competing with Colby. But the funny thing is there are teams that Goodland has beat that Colby has only beaten by 5 or so points. And so it just doesn't add up. Goodland has to find something tonight to keep this game more competitive. I'm not saying that you got to go out there and beat Colby. That's hard to do. But it's not impossible. And my thought is, if you're from the Goodland perspective, you've got to find a way to make this game a little bit, you got to be closer, whether that's your defense being better, your offense being better, whatever it may be. Goodland's got to find a way to be more competitive against Colby in the girls' game. And Bill Behrman told me, he said, we got to find some ways to find a way to do that. And we're going to see if that happens here tonight. And that's what I'm fascinated to see in tonight's games.
Well, the girls are coming off of arguably one of their best team performances all year with the win against Holcomb on Friday. And I know I haven't gotten to
really big time win.
Sorry, I don't know what that sound was, but there's that was a big time win, and they played fantastic. Elizabeth Barton, she didn't score a lot of points, but she scored her 1,000th point in her career, which was great. And I believe for maybe the first time this year, Logan Nolan led in scoring. She had 17. She was knocking down 3. So if they can keep scoring the way they were outside of Elizabeth Barton, I think the Eagles have a great chance in any game that they play, and the Lady Eagles, that is. And then on the boys' side, they're coming off a tough loss. They the defense of Holcomb was just too much for. It wasn't even like they were knocking down the same amount of shots they did last time. The first time these two teams played, but they were just kind of outmatched by that tough man defense. So it'll be interesting. Ball's got to be in Jordan Jones' hands for the majority of the game. I think is what I've learned from watching the Eagles is when he's scoring in the 20s and Guy Tubbs is right behind him. That's the times when they're at their best. So it'll be another fun one. Goodland's not going to miss as many shots, I wouldn't think, as they did last time. So Colby's going to have to play better defensively and offensively, I think, in this game.
We'll see. Once again, early tip-off times, 3:30 Mountain, 4:30 Central Time when it all gets going. And it's going to be different tonight. There's no C-team games. And so when the varsity girls are playing, when the varsity girls are playing in the junior high gym, they will be playing the JV boys game, and then that'll flip. So they're going to be pretty much doing 2 games simultaneously in 2 separate gyms, and then they'll flip and do it that way. So be prepared for that, which could also lead to, it's in some cases, it could lead to a little bit lack of depth in some areas, but we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight or not. All right.
And back, lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Grady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Of course, other reminder, KU and Colorado tonight on Flower Country 97.9 on ESPN2 with an 8 Central, 7 Mountain tip. And you have, of course, K-State, Arizona starting at 7 Central, 6 Mountain time. That'll be on ESPN Plus if you don't want to listen to it on AM 790 KXXX for the Wildcats are tonight. So some big college basketball games here this evening. My question for Max pertains to the halftime show. Because I will admit I am old and I am white. And I do not understand it in any way, shape, or form. I thought the halftime show was horrific. It was terrible. But I do not understand rap, whatever. So can you give me the Cliff Notes version in the next minute to help me understand?
Help you understand what?
Why people think it's such a great show, because I thought it was garbage.
Because he tried to slay the giant of Drake. Okay, and this is the only reason why he's relevant right now. And you're going to get me going here, so I only have a minute. But look, this is he got into this big rap beef with Drake, and he has these songs, and the biggest song was a diss track against Drake, and they gave him the halftime show, and it's just this whole thing, and people like the music. I never have been a fan of his, to be honest, so that helped me in this case, but that's the whole thing. The whole thing is that he had beef with Drake, and now he's doing the halftime show.
Okay.
That's the thing, and it's not good. It's not good. No, you're right. He's got some good old ones, but his new stuff is terrible. And people, I don't know.
It doesn't matter, new, old. There was not a song I knew, and I was like, this halftime show stinks.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ross.
But once again, I don't understand. There's people out there like, that was the greatest halftime show ever. I'm like, wow.
They would say that, whatever. He could have went up there, said nothing, took a dump, and walked off. They would have said it was the greatest halftime show ever. That's just how people are. It's just how people are.
See you tomorrow here on the Blitz.
Rockin' 102.5.